In this video, we are going to remove this early Singer 99 from its wooden base. That means that we're also going to need to remove the motor, the light, and disconnect the wiring here from the base as well. Let's get started. Now, if you want to know what tools you're going to need, you are going to need various flathead screwdrivers, all different sizes. I'm also going to be using my Chapman screwdriver set, and this is kit number 9600. The bits that come in this kit work great in our antique sewing machines where we pretty much only have flathead screws. I love these because this bit will break before I ever strip out the screw head. That's important to me. First, we will start with the wiring portion of this machine to free it from the base. So I'm going to spin this around so you can see what I'm talking about. So because this 99 is a knee-controlled machine, we have some connections right here on the end of the case that we simply need to unplug. We're just going to pull them out just like this. I want to say these are Chicago style connectors. That's what I've heard them called before, but I'm just going to unplug them. And what that does now is when I remove this motor, it's free. It's free from the base of the machine anyway. Now we need to loosen the motor a little bit so that I can free up this belt. If you have enough give in the belt, you can just pop it off like that. If you needed to loosen the motor a little bit because you couldn't pop the belt off so easy, there's a little screw right here. That's what you would want to unscrew. And then you would be able to wiggle the motor a little bit to have that extra give that you need. So where do we start if we want to remove the motor? We're going to unscrew this little screw right here. So it goes without saying, you need to make sure that the bit you're using fits the head of the screw perfectly. It shouldn't be too skinny, and if it's too wide, it's obviously not even going to fit in the slot. So we'll see just how much trouble this screw is going to give me. Oh my goodness, no problem at all. So it is left to loosen, and once I get that screw started, I'm just going to kind of hold on to the motor a little bit. I don't want it to fall. Just takes a little bit of wiggling, and there we go. My motor is off the machine. There we go. And you would be surprised how heavy this is. So we're going to set this aside. It's still connected to the light, so we need to deal with that. But I'm just setting it out of the way. Now let's spin this around so we can look at the back side where the light is attached. Right here is the little thumb screw that I want to undo. Let's see. Haha. Here is the thumb screw. Now, this should just pull away and lift up off this spool pin. And it's clipped into a little tiny hole back here. So I just kind of pulled it out first. And let's slide this up the spool pin. So what I was talking about is this part right here. Right here, it's just got a little finger on it, was wedged into that hole. So now I have everything together, the motor and the light, and I'm not going to do anything else to these right now. There's no further disassembly that I want to do at the moment. I want to strip the machine down first. So I'm going to take the light with the thumb screw that held it on, and then the motor with this screw, and I'm going to put them in a safe place. And just take a look here. This part of the machine that was covered by that little plate looks totally different. The decal is still nicely intact, and even the paint is so much shinier, which kind of makes me wonder, when I polish this portion, is it going to look like this? We'll find out. That's going to be a while from now. Now I can take this machine out of the base. So how do we do that? Right here is a little latch. And when you swing it to the side, then you're able to tilt the machine up. And that's what we're going to need to do to be able to get this out. Because if I look anywhere else on the base. So if I look on the back side, there is no screws that I can access from there. I do need to flip it up and out. So let me do that next. Now I can't just let go of this. If I do that, the machine is so heavy, it's just going to flip back. So the best solution for you is going to be to find a way to support this machine, because the screws that we need to loosen are here and here. And this little leg on the machine is going to get in our way and make things a little bit more complicated. But first, I want to support the machine. This is why I never throw away old shoe boxes. I use them to hold parts to machines before I clean them, but now it's going to be a brace for my sewing machine. See, it's not going anywhere. It's nice and steady, and I don't even have anything in this shoe box. It's just holding my machine for me at the right angle. So now I'm going to take my flathead screwdriver and I'm going to remove these two screws. Because of the angle here, it's not going to be easy to use a longer screwdriver. So in that case, I'm going to go with a shorter one so I still have room for my hand. And I don't have to take the screw all the way out. Other side, holding on to the machine just to keep it from flying on me, and I'm loosening that other screw. So with both screws loosened, I should be able to lift this machine up off these little pins in here. Just be careful. It's really easy to pinch yourself. If you cannot pry these loose, then you want to remove the screws all the way and put a little bit of penetrating oil down in these holes just to free it up, because it could be gunked up after many years of sitting. So I took the screw out. This side came free, that side didn't. This is the penetrating oil that I love. It's Aerocroil. It's awesome. I buy it in the spray can, and I also buy it like in a can that I put it into a little bottle like this, because this little needle nose is great for getting into screw holes and getting that oil in there. And I have a link to the Aerocroil down below. You can find it on Amazon. I also have a link to the Chapman screwdrivers that I showed you down below. So let's see if that maybe helped me out a little bit. Okay, so I lowered the machine and I can pull it away. And maybe that would have been the easiest way the whole time. But now I can take the machine and I can remove the base. Now we can access all of this so much easier. And we're going to be taking out a lot of these components. So flipping it up and down in the base just wasn't going to make any sense. Now the machine is ready for the next step of disassembly, and we will actually go ahead and remove the bobbin winder first, and then we can just pop this belt right off. But I want to set this aside and talk to you about this base and the knee control. Oh, and don't lose these two little set screws that actually fix your machine to the base. Put them in a bag. Label them if you need to, but we will be putting these on towards the end of the series. So this little cover right here covers the components for the knee control. I want to take it off and show you what it looks like. And then I'm going to tell you why I decided to replace it with a different knee control component. So in order to remove the cover like this, I have two screws. I have this screw and then the screw for the little lever that holds the machine down so you can't flip it up. So I just need to remove both of those. And because they're screwing into wood, these screws are a little bit different. They actually have a pointy tip. And when I take this off, I have the screw here, the little latch, and then there's a little piece of felt, and that goes between the latch and this cover so that it doesn't scratch or make a scraping noise. So I want to keep these together in a bag with this cover. Now, are you ready to see what's inside? This is the current knee control. And what I want to do is remove it. I'm not going to do it now in this video, but the reason why I want to is because I don't particularly like this style of control. What would happen is we would put the knee control bar in here, and then this little piece here is going to move as we press the bar, and that's how it would move it from either no power to more power, and that would increase the speed of the machine. The problem is all these little contacts here, which I'm not sure how well you can see them. There's, I believe, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6. They need to all be level, the same height, to touch this little copper bar here. And if they get wore incorrectly, then that's going to affect how it runs. That's how I understand it. So my idea is to take this out and replace it with the one that they designed that I believe came after this one. Slightly different, looks a lot like the inside of a button style foot control. I have a little bit more confidence in those, and I think I'll be able to adjust it so that you have that fine control that you need when you're sewing using the knee lever. So that's my plan for this, and I'm pretty sure it's going to work, but we'll find out. If not, then I'll go back to this one and do my very best. So for now though, we can set this aside. And if you've never watched any of my restoration videos, I'm just going to explain my very sophisticated way for keeping like parts together so that I know what screws go where. I use fold top sandwich bags, and all the parts that went to that cover and the little latch and the cover itself are going in a bag. When I clean them, they'll go back in the bag once they're dry, or a clean bag if necessary, but that's how I'm going to know what goes where. Little set screws for the base, same thing. 2 little screws. I know it seems kind of silly, 2 little screws in a bag, but I will know what these go to. That's what matters to me. There are other set screws on your machine. You do not want to get these confused. They're not all the same. So bag up your parts as you go. You will be so much happier when it's time to put your machine back together. Now for something bigger like the motor and light, I like to use these takeout containers. They're just big enough to hold the components, and even once I disassemble this motor, I can fit all the parts inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the motor and the screws still in the mount over here. This is the thumb screw for the light. All that is going to fit right here, and I can set it aside. So in the next video, we will be removing the bobbin winder, and we will be fully disassembling it as well. When I take a part off, I go ahead and fully disassemble it as much as I can. That's just what works for me. So next time we remove the bobbin winder, and we'll get this belt off too. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye.